heart of Lombardy, between the province of Milan and the Orobic Alps, lies the province of Bergamo, a land of lakes, rivers, mountains. An important industrial area of great significance in northern Italy, it also offers many cultural and artistic initiatives, attracting visitors from all over the world. In the last century, a large number of companies were set up around Bergamo, which have now reached high international standards. These include Treni Brembo, whose brakes are used on the best cars taking part in Formula One races, and the legendary Bianchi factory in Treviglio, which for over 120 years has produced the bicycles used by champions such as Coppi, Gimondi and Pantani. Mention should be made of the Chilometro Rosso, a science technology park designed by the French architect Jean Nouvel. And the new Bergamo Trade Fair, which hosts both national and international congresses. Bergamo is also proud of its famous names linked to the world of fashion: Trussardi, Frizia and I Pinco Pallino. Bergamo and its province offer many cultural events, attracting people both from Italy and abroad. These include Bergamo Scienza, Notte di Luce, with cultural events held in various parts of the city, the Bergamo Jazz Festival, the Piano Festival, the Bergamo Film Meeting, the International Festival of Art Films, and the Gaetano Donizetti Opera Season. Bergamo may be considered a gateway to the world, with its international airport located in Orio al Serio. Only 4 kilometres from the city centre and used by over 6 million passengers a year, the airport now offers links with over 80 destinations in more than 30 countries. Today, as in the past, Bergamo offers many attractions and has been praised by Stendhal, Hess, Le Corbusier. Not to be missed is the Upper Town with its Venetian walls, funicular railways, Piazza Vecchia, the historical main square, the Basilica of St Mary Major, the Colleoni Chapel, and other characteristic buildings. But one should also not forget the Lower Town, with its picturesque borghi, or burgs, and the Accademia Carrara Art Gallery, containing priceless works of art. The city and the province offer a perfect blend of history, art and industry, surrounded by magnificent and varied scenery. Mountains, valleys, rivers and lakes. Bergamo is closely linked to religious faith, and Sotto il Monte is famous for being the birthplace of Pope John the 23rd, known as Il Papa Buono, the Good Pope. Bergamo and its province show many different aspects to the visitor. If you travel just a few kilometers out of the city centre, you will find yourself in one of its beautiful valleys. Here is San Pellegrino, the fatherland of liberty. As well as being a spa centre, San Pellegrino is famous worldwide for its mineral water. Higher up in two of the valleys, the Valle Brembana and Valle Seriana, are ski resorts with excellent facilities and ski lifts, and which offer scores of slopes of all levels. In summer too, there are many opportunities for recreation and relaxation, such as walks and hikes along pleasant paths or through woodland, surrounded by the rocky Sentiero delle Europie, or aerobic trail, situated at an altitude of over 2,000 meters. Yet another attraction is Lake Iseo and Lake Endine. Set like jewels among the lower mountain slopes, they too offer art and culture, enchanting scenery, and many opportunities for recreation. Moving down towards the plains, you will encounter ancient castles reminiscent of past times, and the courtly life of knights, lords, and ladies. Both in Bergamo and its province, there are good opportunities for shopping, either in small shops or in the many large shopping malls. This then is the Bergamo area, offering an endless variety of scenery, a land of great charm with a surprise around every corner. Bergamo is a city of art, whose name is believed to derive from the Celtic words berg, mountain, and hem, home, and indeed, Berghem is what the city is still called nowadays in the local dialect. The collection of works of art and paintings in the Accademia Carrara Gallery is one of the most valuable in the world, thanks to famous artists such as Raffaello Sanzio, Tiziano Vecellio, Lorenzo Lotto, Giovanni Bellini, Andrea Mantegna, and Giacomo Manzu, but the list of names could go on and on. The Carrara Gallery is, however, only part of the artistic heritage of the city and province. Take, for example, the beautiful Donizetti Theatre, or the precious Donizetti Museum, which houses the personal belongings, music scores and manuscripts, and musical instruments of the great opera composer. The Diocesan Museum contains examples of sacred works of art, while the busy Modern Art Gallery in the Lower Town each year organises important exhibitions by famous international artists. Upper Bergamo is encircled by walls, with 4 large entrance gates, built by the Venetians at the end of the 1500s to protect the town. These walls were never actually used as military fortifications, but are now a symbol of Bergamo, a jewel in the crown of the upper town. In the heart of the upper town, Piazza Vecchia, the old square, is overlooked by the Palazzo della Ragione. a beautiful 13th century building, and opposite is the town library. A few yards away stands the Renaissance-style Cappella Colleoni, still in good condition today, and one of the most interesting examples of the late 15th century architectural style of Lombardy. The bell tower, dating back to the 13th century and known locally as the Campanone, or Big Bell, is a witness to some of the city's most important events. On a clear day, there are breathtaking views from the top. Next to the bell tower is the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a Romanesque church, but with a Baroque interior. On the exterior are porticos, designed by Giovanni da Campione and dating from the 14th century. While inside, there are valuable 16th century Florentine and Flemish tapestries, a Giotto-inspired fresco depicting the Tree of Life, paintings by Luca Giordano and Gianpaolo Cavagna, and last but not least, the famous marquetry panels by Lorenzo Lotto. Then there's the cathedral, whose origins go back as far as the early Christian era. Interesting architectural features of that period have recently come to light and may be admired in the undercroft of the church. The upper town and the colle or hill of San Vigilio can be reached by funicular, a particular type of little train that can travel up quite steep slopes thanks to a system of cables. The funicular railways of Bergamo were built between the late 1800s and early 1900s. The city offers many cultural opportunities, of which the following are but a few. Guided tours of historical buildings, such as the residences of some of Bergamo's most illustrious families, as well as tours of some parts of the town still shrouded in mystery. There are scientific exhibitions organised by the Archaeological Museum and natural science exhibitions illustrating the history of Bergamo, held in the lovely San Francesco cloisters. Bergamo Film Meeting is a long-standing encounter with the world of the cinema and offers film d'essai, while the International Festival of Art Films includes artistic contributions of all kinds. The aim of Bergamo Scienza is to bring science to the notice of the public in general, while Notte di Luce is a series of musical and cultural events held in various historical and atmospheric venues around the town. The list of events includes also Bergamo Jazz, the Benedetti Michelangeli International Piano Festival, and the Bergamo Music Festival. Moving upwards through the valleys, with their lovely rivers and mountains, in Valle Seriana you come to Alzano Lombardo and the Church of San Martino, St. Martin's. The furnishings of the vestries were sculpted and inlaid in the workshop of the Fantonis from Rivetta, and are real masterpieces of woodworking. The main town in the upper part of Valle Seriana is Clusone, with its old frescoed streets and famous Clusone Jazz Festival. Between Valle Brambana and Valle Magna, you can discover Romanesque treasures such as the circular church of San Tomé, which over the centuries has undergone very few changes. A little further on, in Clanezzo, is a lovely Romanesque bridge. In Valle Brambana, you shouldn't miss a visit to Cornello del Tasso with its Via Mercatorum, a road which in the Middle Ages provided a link to the Canton dei Grigioni. Famous for its mineral water, San Pellegrino offers a spa and a casino, as well as a wonderful example of Art Nouveau architecture, the Grand Hotel. Travelling towards the lakes, you encounter Trescore Balneario, with its own architectural jewel, the Villa Suardi Chapel, with its wonderful frescoes by Lorenzo Lotto, the Renaissance genius. The lakes entrance visitors with the beauty of their historical town centres and the harmonic effect of the villages on their shores. Lovere, on Lake Iseo, boasts an important artistic heritage in its Tadini Art Gallery, housing works by a variety of artists, from Bellini to Parmigianino, from Tiepolo to Hayez and Longoretti. If we continue across the plains, once the realm of farmhouses and fields of maize, in an environment which still recalls the past, we come across the castles of Romano di Lombardia and Pagazzano, the Rocca, or fortress of Urgnano, and in Cavernago, the castle of Malpaga, parts of which date back to the 13th and 14th centuries. This castle was owned by the great military commander Bartolomeo Colleoni, who received there as guests princes and dukes, and King Christian of Denmark with his entire court. On the plains, where the rivers Adda and Brembo meet, stands Crespi d'Adda, a masterpiece of urban planning with its large factory premises and workman's village, as well as its Art Nouveau buildings, whose construction began at the end of the 1800s. A small garden town, it is now a UNESCO heritage site. Not far off, and still in working order, is the ferry designed by Leonardo da Vinci, and which crosses the river at Villa d'Adda. The Bergamo area has a wealth of great and small treasures, all waiting to be discovered. Bergamo in its province also means sport and wellness, offering ideal opportunities for relaxation, physical exercise and well-being. There are many events which attract sports lovers, from the Città di Bergamo marathon race, whose route passes through the city centre, to the Felice Gimondi cycle race, known as Gran Fondo, and which takes place along the roads leading to the valleys of Bergamo. The Giro d'Italia, Italy's most famous cycle race, while another event is the Paravicini Trophy, awarded for high-altitude alpine skiing. For those who enjoy taking part in sports, there are many things to do in the area. Cycle paths all over the province are the ideal place for pleasant bike rides. In the Valle Brembana, the road goes from Zogno to Piazza Brembana, winding among high precipices and tunnels hollowed out of the rock. The Valle Seriana cycle path links Alzano and Clusone, passing through woods, attractive villages, and along the banks of the river Serio. Bordering on the province of Milan, the path skirting the river Adda goes from Cassano to Olginate, 40 kilometres of enchanting scenery that inspired Leonardo da Vinci to design the ferry, which today still crosses the river at Villa d'Adda. From cycling to golf. Golf courses such as La Rosera, l'Albenza, the Parco dei Colli and Castione della Presolana are popular meeting places for expert golf players to test their skills and perfect their technique, surrounded by the beauties of nature. And what about water sports? There is a vast choice of sports to get your adrenaline racing: canyoning, water skiing, parasailing and windsurfing. For those who simply want to relax in a lovely natural environment, and for those who appreciate beautiful scenery, there is certainly no lack of mountain walks. The Sentiero delle Orobbie, a network of walking trails, will take you up to 2,712 metres among the Prealpi Bergamasche, the lower alpine slopes. And it's not only in summer that you can enjoy the mountains. In winter, the wonderful downhill and cross-country ski runs in the Valle Brembana, Valle Seriana and Valle di Scalve offer fantastic skiing in magnificent surroundings. And after a day of sport, there's nothing better than to spare some time for your own well-being, time to pamper yourself and regenerate your body. The spas in the area are the best way to relax and recuperate from strenuous physical activity. The Art Nouveau-style spa in San Pellegrino offers various types of therapy. Its reputation goes back to the 1800s, when it was a sort of prestigious drawing room where the nobility and royalty from all over Europe would meet. In Valle Magna, the spa and treatment centre of Santo Mobono is a peaceful oasis devoted to body care. As well as undergoing physiotherapy and treatment for chest problems, you can relax thanks to traditional massages, massages with stones, seaweed and mud treatments, and steam baths. Or you can opt for beauty treatments to correct small physical imperfections. Last but not least is Trescore Balneario, a wellness centre offering natural treatments. Besides beauty care such as mud baths, massages and hydromassages, this centre is famous for its health cures, especially for those with respiratory problems. Sport, spas and wellness. Different ways to enjoy both the energetic pursuits and opportunities for relaxation that Bergamo offers. Bergamo can boast of two lakes, Lake Iseo and Lake Endine. Lake Iseo has always been a popular destination with tourists who come to admire the scenery, visit the charming lakeside villages, play sports and take part in other outdoor activities, and to taste the typical food products of the area. From Sanico to Lovere, the two largest centres on the Bergamo shores of the lake, you pass through a series of unique places: Prodore, Tavernola and Riva di Solto, all looking towards Montisola, the largest lake island in Europe. The shoreline is rocky and wild, but at the same time fascinating. The part known as Bogne, lying between Riva di Solto and Castro, offers magnificent views of breathtaking beauty with its coves, rocky cliffs and blue crystal clear waters lapping the small pebbly beach. The road along the Bergamo lake shore was tunnelled out of the rock face in 1910 and provides the visitor with a very interesting and scenic itinerary. Leaving Sanico, you can admire a network of small roads of medieval origins, which, along with wonderful views of Prodore, Tavernola and Riva di Solto, represent one of the loveliest parts of the area. Travelling onwards, you reach Lovere, a very popular destination thanks to its many attractions for visitors: the historical town centre, the newly built promenade, its many tourist facilities, the Lido, Marina and Yacht Club, which organises sailing courses on the lake. The characteristics of Lovere are its old buildings and towers, the narrow streets winding up through the town, the Renaissance Basilica of Santa Maria in Valvendra, built in 1485, and the Tadini Art Gallery, which contains works of art dating back to the 14th century. As you leave the lake shore, you come to the hill villages of Fonteno and Solto Collina, offering unforgettable views over the lake. That's Lake Iseo. But there's also another lake. Just a few kilometres away is Lake Endine and the small towns of Spinone al Lago, Endine and Monasterolo. Up on the hillsides above the lake, Ransanico and Bienzano are worth a mention. Each year, Bienzano hosts a famous historic commemoration of medieval times. Both lakes are great places to visit and explore, but also offer superb opportunities for very varied sports activities, from more active ones like water skiing, windsurfing, parasailing, canoeing and sailing, to more relaxing ones such as scuba diving and fishing. Throughout the year, many events take place in the area. Street markets, festivals and cultural events like Corto Lovere, Notte Sotto le Stelle, Sanico Busca Festival, Suoni del Mondo Notte d'Arte nel Basso Sabino. Pleasant venues where you can encounter new faces and cultures. To make the most of your lakeside holiday, you shouldn't miss a ferry cruise on Lake Iseo. In particular, the charming Three Islands tour, and, in the evening, the romantic-themed dinner cruises. Lakes where you can enjoy life to the full, where history, culture, nature and sport go hand in hand, and offer an original and stimulating experience to whoever visits them. In summer, the mountains in the Bergamo area offer infinite opportunities to enjoy them to the full. You can hike the lower and higher slopes of the Orobic Alps, or walk on the hills of Marizana and Canto Alto, which are close to and just above the city of Bergamo. Alternatives are trips by mountain bike along the paths and through the woods of the nearby hills and mountains. or along the lovely cycle paths of the Valle Seriana and Valle Brembana, and which lead to the foot of the mountains. The best way to enjoy a trip surrounded by nature is to follow the Sentiero delle Orobbie, a two-part itinerary covering both the western and eastern Orobic Alps, and where the main rifugi, mountain chalets offering meals and sometimes accommodation, are located. In the Valle Seriana, by hiking or climbing up to the Refugio Curò chalet, 1,900 metres above sea level, and then on as far as the natural lake called Barbellino, it's not rare to come across marmots or spot a herd of running chamois deer. And special mention must be made of the Refugio Coca and its lake, with cobalt blue waters of immense beauty. And there's more to come, a fascinating climb up to the Dolomite-type peaks of the Presolana, perhaps the loveliest of Bergamo's mountains, arriving at the Presolana Pass, which links the Valle Seriana and Valle di Scalve. From here you can walk to the charming Rifugio Albani. There are walks suitable for everyone, both for families out for an easy stroll and tougher hikes for the experienced climber. Following the Sentiero delle Orobbie in the Valle Brembana, you come to Rifugio Calvi, another attractive spot. The lovely Passo San Marco, St Mark's Pass, lies at the top of the Valle Brembana and can easily be reached by car. This pass, with a mountain chalet called Ca San Marco, is 2,000 metres above sea level, and for centuries has been the compulsory route between the Orobic area and the Valtellina. The high peaks, many of which are over 3,000 metres high, and the mountains looking towards the Central Alps, are the ideal place for hiking and climbing. Surrounded by nature and in an unspoiled environment, you can take part in many different sports activities, from canoeing to horse riding, or simply enjoy a pleasant stroll and perhaps a picnic. Many sports events take place around the valleys and mountains of Bergamo. For example, the Felice Gimondi cycle race, the rally in the lower Orobic Alps, Orobic Sky Raid race, and the Paravicini Trophy for alpine skiing. For history lovers, in Averara, in Valle Brembana, you can see porticoed streets dating from medieval times, or you can visit the Venetian Customs House in Redivo, just above the village. The Via Mercatorum passed through this area at Cornello del Tasso. This ancient road, parts of which are still visible today, led up to the Passo San Marco from Bergamo. Another village in the area is Oneta di San Giovanni Bianco, where the House of Harlequin, a masked figure of the Commedia dell'arte, is located. At the end of the 1500s, the Via Mercatorum was replaced by the Strada Priula, a wider and better road, which allowed carts and carriages to pass along it, but which still led, albeit via another route, to the Passo San Marco. The Orobic Alps are home to an extraordinary variety of flora. Extraordinary too are the river Serio Falls at Val Bondione. With a triple drop of 315 metres, this waterfall is one of the highest in Europe and is visible as from early summer. Of great interest are the museums attesting to the history of the mountains around Bergamo. The Valle Brembana, often referred to as the Valley of Museums, is home to, among others, the famous Zogno Valley Museum. One unusual museum is the one in Schilpario, in the Valle di Scalve, which narrates the story of the miners and mines of the Orobic Alps. In Valle Seriana is Clusone, with its lovely frescoes on the building facades, while the charming Berg of Gromo is steeped in history. In the the valleys around Bergamo, there are numerous summer festivals animating the towns and villages, and a great many opportunities for shopping. You certainly shouldn't fail to taste the local food products, such as the typical delicious cheeses like Formai de Mut, Branzi, Taleggio and Formagella from the Valle di Scalve. For their wonderful scenery, delicious cuisine, warm welcome by the inhabitants and the numerous opportunities for sport and relaxation, the mountains of Bergamo are the ideal summer venue. For mountain lovers, snowshoeing, walking or skiing in the mountains of Bergamo, surrounded by snow-clad peaks and deep valleys, is an unforgettable experience. And the Orobic Alps offer a vast choice of things to do. With the first snowfalls, the ski lifts start working, allowing skiers to reach the top of the long ski runs leading down to the valleys below. The passion for skiing is not a new one. It goes back to the early part of the last century, when there were no ski lifts, chairlifts or other means to reach the mountain tops. The ski resorts in the Bergamo area offer the chance to try various winter sports: downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, snowboarding, hot dogging and tobogganing, as well as freestyle and para-skiing. And why not try travelling across the snowfields by snowmobile, even nicer at night under a full moon, or skating on one of the several ice rinks. Lovers of high-altitude alpine skiing can get to places which in winter can't be reached by road or ski lift. For example, you can get up to the Passo San Marco and visit the military trenches from the First World War. Or up Paschilpario to the Passo dei Campelli, white rocky flats overshadowed by the towering Dolomite-type peaks of the Cimon della Bagozza. Then on to another mountain pass, the Passo del Vivione, leading to the Val Camonica. At Montepora, chairlifts take you up to wide, sunny ski slopes, where, as you ski, you can enjoy pleasant views over Valle Sariana and Lake Iseo, and on towards Val Camonica and the Adamello Peak. As well as skiing, you can also try your hand at tobogganing at the Presolana Pass. Surrounded by the Presolana Mountains are the Colliery ski runs. While other important ski resorts include Spiazza di Gromo and Lizzola. For lovers of cross-country skiing, of high international standards is the ski run through the fir trees at Schilpario in the Valle di Scalve. In the Valle Brembana, Branzi and Oltre il Colle offer enjoyable cross-country ski runs, and the resorts of Foppolo, San Simone, Corona, Valeve and Valtorta offer wonderful downhill pistes. Near the ski runs, there are comfortable, well-heated mountain chalets where you can relax and taste the typical dishes of Bergamo. When the day's skiing is over, you can stay up near the slopes to enjoy après-ski activities like music and dancing. Alternatively, you can go back down to enjoy the entertainment offered by the villagers in the valleys. Festivals, discos, a wide choice of bars, pizzerias, family-style restaurants and shops selling local products including typical mountain cheeses. And if that is not enough, the valleys offer even more. Evening ski excursions, snowshoeing trips and torchlight processions down the mountains. Not to mention thrilling trips by snowmobile, ski races and cross-country motorbiking. And in December, a focal point is the traditional lively Christmas markets. A holiday spent in the snow-covered mountains of the Orobic Alps is an unforgettable experience. What's more pleasurable than eating well and tasting typical local dishes? The Bergamo area boasts excellent foods and wines, offering a cuisine which is simple, yet at the same time tasty, with unique and original flavours handed down from generation to generation. The traditional products have reached a very high standard. In fact, of the 30 Italian cheeses whose origins are guaranteed, as many as 7 are made in the Bergamo area. Cheese is the symbol of local gastronomy. Of particular merit are Formai de Mout, produced in the Upper Valle Brembana, Branzi, Taleggio, Formagella from the Valle Seriana and the Valle di Scalve. All of them tasty, healthy, traditionally made cheeses. The cheeses of Bergamo are ideal eaten along with the many types of local sausage-type products, such as the typical Bergamo salami, sausages for grilling, a type of fat raw bacon known as lardo, and prosciutto crudo, or raw ham, from the Valle Seriana. All, of course, accompanied by a glass of Val Calepio wine, produced from grapes grown on the lower slopes and hills of the Valle San Martino and the Val Calepio. One excellent wine with a rich aromatic flavour is Moscato di Scanzo, a muscatel delicious both on its own or together with strongly flavoured cheese. Thanks to the daily menus offered by smart restaurants and characteristic family eateries, it's possible to taste the typical traditional dishes of the area, many of which are closely linked to the historical past of the province. Among the typical dishes of Bergamo are casonsei, a sort of stuffed pasta containing meat, raisins and pears, served with melted butter, sage leaves and bacon. Polenta terragna is a kind of soft maize pudding into which local valley cheeses are melted. Both of these dishes are rich and filling and reflect their peasant origins. Other local dishes are scarpinoci, large ravioli-type cheese-filled pasta from a place called Parre, and polenta served with small roasted birds, a dish known as polenta e osei. Not only does Bergamo offer savoury dishes, polenta e osei is also a cake, a mound of marzipan, hazelnut buttercream and sponge cake, topped by chocolate birds, and a delight for those with a sweet tooth. Another typical cake with a very delicate buttery flavour and with the addition of pieces of crystallised pineapple and apricot is the delicious torta Donizetti, first prepared in honour of the famous composer Gaetano Donizetti. The cuisine of Bergamo offers simple yet characteristic flavours. An important ingredient is the extra virgin olive oil produced in limited quantities in the area between Sarnico and Lovere on Lake Iseo. This is a beautiful part of the lake where in characteristic little restaurants you can try delicious lake fish, including trout and char, cooked in a variety of mouth-watering ways. A gastronomic journey, discovering traditional dishes which will delight every palate. Bergamo is a land of religious faith and traditions. Witness to this are the many sanctuaries and shrines dating back to past centuries, religious and at the same time artistic symbols. The most important is the Santuario di Caravaggio, which is the third most visited shrine in Italy. In the mountains in Valle Amagna stands the Santuario della Cornabusa, located in a natural rock grotto, and one of the places where Bishop Angelo Roncalli, later to become Pope John the 23rd, used to come and pray. His birthplace, Sottilmonte, still attracts pilgrims from far and near. As though on a journey back through time, you can see the places where he spent his childhood, the house where he was born, the church where he was christened, the environment in which he grew up until he left to enter the seminary in Bergamo, a seminary which still today bears his name. Travelling up through the valleys, in Clusone, in the Valle Seriana, are some of the most important religious buildings in the Bergamo area. The Basilica di Santa Maria Assunta, dating from the 17th century, and alongside it, the 15th century church, known as the Chiesa dei Disciplini, with frescoes depicting the life of Christ. On its facade is painted a danza macabra, or macabre dance, dating back to the 1400s and representing the vanity of man. The main square in Clusone is well known for its clock by Vanzago, showing the movement of the planets. Built in the 16th century, it's still in working order today. Another aspect of Clusone is its folklore. Its carnival, masks and costumes bring a note of colour, light and music to the town. Returning towards the plains, on the road linking Bergamo and Lecco, is the charming monastery of Pontida, a well-known destination for pilgrimages and which houses a group of Benedictine monks. In the upper town, the historical centre of Bergamo, the Basilica of St Mary Major, built in the first half of the 12th century, is a real treasure house containing many works of art. Next to it stands the Colleoni Chapel, a mausoleum built on the orders of the Bergamasque military commander, or condottiero, for himself and his daughter Medea. Very often linked to religious celebrations, Bergamo hosts many folklore events when people get together and enjoy what the area offers. In Bergamo, starting from the 26th of August each year, the important St. Alexander Fair is held, while a few days earlier, the ancient burg of Santa Caterina, St. Catherine, has its own celebrations. St. Alexander is the patron saint of Bergamo and is remembered by many initiatives, religious, theatrical and gastronomic. In December, Bergamo holds its traditional Christmas markets, and stalls are set up in the city centre to celebrate Santa Lucia, St. Lucy. She's supposed to bring gifts to children, who take letters to the Church of Santa Lucia expressing their particular wishes. This time of year is particularly atmospheric, full of bright lights and sounds. Carnival too is an important time, a time of high spirits and fun. With both children and adults dressed in every type of costume and a mid-Lent procession of decorated floats, celebrations end with the Rogo della Vecchia, or Burning of the Old Lady, with an effigy placed on a bonfire to symbolise the passing away of all the city's problems for the past year. By tradition, Bergamo is closely linked to the Commedia dell'arte. The Zanni are the forefathers of well-known characters like Harlequin, the Bergamasque servant, and Gioppi and Margi, important male and female characters in local marionette theatres. Religious faith and tradition. Visitors never fail to be surprised by what Bergamo offers.